Hi everyone. So today's Salesforce development day 3. Let's see what we are going to learn today. So today's agenda is we will quickly go through the previous session overview and then we'll talk about the attributes in the Apex page. And then we will talk about the Apex page block tag and we will talk about the attributes in the Apex page block. And then what is the debug logs, and then we'll have a homework in today's interview question. Okay, in last session, we have started the visual force, how to implement the visual force page, and what is how to create a visual force page, and what is the tags that we use it inside this. We have seen all those things, right? Now, continuation of that. Now, last time we have seen the properties of visual force page. Few properties that we have seen. Visual Force is a UI based technology. By using the Visual Force, we can implement a user interface. Only the UI we can implement it, which is a front end. Now, Visual Force language looks like a HTML programming, right? The programming that we have seen, the HTML programming, it's the same exactly. It looks like a HTML programming. And Visual Force language always starts with a tag called apex:page, end with /apex:page, end with /apex:page, right? And inside this, right, so it starts with apex:page and ends with apex:page. Between this, either I can use the HTML or CSS or JavaScript. CSS is nothing but cascading style sheet. Cascading style sheet. Now HTML, you know the tag. CSS is for a styling. CSS is for styling. JavaScript is in case if you want to apply any logic at the client side. Any logic, if you want to apply at the client side, then you will go for a JavaScript. Very basic JavaScript we use it. We do not use the full length of JavaScript. Now we will talk about those also. Now, HTML is nothing but hypertext markup language. Yesterday, we have seen we use this HTML to design the form or a display text or implement a page structure. For that purpose, we use a HTML. Whereas CSS is nothing but a cascading style sheet. Cascading style sheet, we use a CSS to implement the look, feel, that means a styling, font change. I wanted to change the font. I wanted to update the styling or print the text in middle, right? For those, we will do the CSS. So simple example for the CSS is, now yesterday we have written something. Now this is the logic we have written, right? So if I click on a preview, what is happening? It is starting from here. Let me switch to the class lightning. Click on a preview, right? It is exactly starting from the left side, even there is a no space. It's starting immediately in the left side. But in case if I want this text to be displayed in the center, I want this text to be displayed in the center. Now, how can I do that? Now, we have a tag, HTML tag, which is there. Now, I'll use the div tag. HTML tag called div. By using this, what I'll do is, for CSS, this is the HTML command. For CSS, what we will do is, within the HTML command, we have a few attributes which are called as a style. Now within this, if I wanted to place this into the center, then what we will use is, we will use the text hyphen align center. text hyphen align center. So which displays in the center. Now, how do I know what are the CSS that I need to use it? Now, simply go to the Google CSS in HTML. Click on this HTML style CSS. HTML style CSS. Now here it is going to give you all the things. Now if you say here, try it yourself. Now what it is saying that style equal to color blue. Style equal to color blue. It is displaying in the blue color. Now here color equal to red. It is displaying in the red color. Now what are the styles you will apply? Now for example, you say style equal to font size. What are the font size, or you wanted to implement different sizes, or a background, right? Background color, or you wanted to implement a color. CSS is basically anything which is related to the style. Like a font size you wanted to increase, font family you wanted to increase. Those everything we can see in the CSS. So CSS is basically if you want to adjust the style. If you want to adjust the style, there are multiple styles are there. If you want to adjust the style or increase it, so what you can do is you can add a style equal to see what are the style you wanted to do it, like color equal to red. Now in that case, I wanted the text to be center as well as I want the color to be red. Now what are the text is there? This color I want to apply the color as a red, or else now here it is showing as a red color. Now here it is color colon red. Now copy this, go to the developer console. Now print here the value color red, click on save. It automatically refreshes. Now it is displaying in the red color. Right? For example, you want a border. You want a border to this. Now you want a different border you wanted to apply. Right? If you want a border, now we have an option called border. We have an option called border. Now this UCSS border property for border. That means if you want a line, now here, this is the text which is displaying it, right? Now for example, I want the border like this. I want the border like this. I wanted to place the border. Now in case if I wanted to place the border, so what I can do is I can use the CSS border colon what are the color you wanted, like I want the thickness of 4 pixel, and let's say solid red, right? Let's see that now here solid red is applied. 4 pixel I have given, so that's the reason this much thickness. Now if you want to change this to the, for example, let's change this to the pink. Let's save it, and border, let me put the border thickness of the border is a 2 pixel. Thickness of the border is 2 pixel. Now the border is decreased and this is displaying in the pink color. Now if you want that it is not visible, then you wanted to put it a different color. Let's say I'll put it as a blue. Right? So if you refresh this, it is displaying it. So this is how you will keep on playing with the Visualforce page. Right? If you want to apply a style, or if you want to modify anything, or if you want to add anything here, then you can add it. Right? So that is one example. Now let's understand the apex colon page. What is this apex colon page? What is this apex colon page? So that is whatever we have seen, which is called as a CSS, Whatever we have seen here, the style, which is a cascade style sheet. This is cascade style sheet. What we are doing, we are applying the style to this page. We are applying the style to this page. Whatever the page is here, for that page, we are applying the style. Now, few things to be remembered here. Whenever we are creating a Visualforce page, whenever we are creating a Visualforce page here, the naming convention of the Visualforce page is you cannot create a Visualforce name starting with a number. You cannot create a Visualforce page starting with a number. That means whenever you are creating a Visualforce page, the starting letter should not be a number. And whenever you are creating a Visualforce page, the name starting with it should not be start with the special characters. Now, the name should not be starting with the special characters and not even space. The Visualforce name should not be starting with a space or a underscore. It should not do with, right? For example, you are creating the Visualforce page. You are creating the Visualforce page like underscore, VF, right? Like this, you should not be creating it. Or you are giving us some special character and name of the VF page. You should not be creating like this. Or starting with the number. No, you should not be creating like this. Right? So Visualforce page, whenever you are creating the Visualforce page, these three should not be there. Now, whenever you are creating a class, name should be unique and it should begin with uppercase letter. That means whenever you are creating a Visualforce, whatever your Visualforce name is there, it should start with a capital letter. It should start with a capital letter. Now, my VF page, or let's say my first page. First page. It should always start. It should always starts with capital letter. It should always starts with a capital letter, and whatever the name is there, right? In the name, the letter has to be a mixed cases. When I say mixed cases means, for example, here I have in my first VF page. Now, if you see, the first letter has to be a capital, and whichever the word it is starting, right? Whichever the word it is starting, in that word, first letter has to be a capital. So my is a one word. First letter has to be capital. After that, first is a one letter. Then it should be a first is the capital. Then VF is the another word. V should be capital. So whatever the word you are using it, that word, it has to be start with capital and then followed with the small letters. My first VF page, or if you are giving any other name, word by word distributed, and it has to be capital, small, capital, small, capital, small. Right, so this is how naming convention in the, whenever you are creating the Visualforce page, you have to make sure that it starts with a capital F, capital letter, and as soon as the word is ending and next word is starting, for that next word also it has to be start with a capital letter. It has to start with a capital letter. Now let's understand this apex colon page. What is this apex colon page? How do I understand the apex colon page? Right? Now here, apex colon page is a Visualforce tag. Is a Visualforce tag. It is a Visualforce tag, and what we are going to do here is, few people will call it as a Visualforce tag, or few people will call it as a standard component. Few people call it as a standard component. Whenever you are reading a blogs in the Google, or you are talking to somebody else, few members say that Visualforce standard components. Visualforce standard components. Now, some people will say that it's a Visualforce tag. Whether it is a Visualforce tag or a standard component, it always starts with the apex. All the Visualforce pages, most of the Visualforce pages tags will start with the apex. Now let's understand here. We have an open Visualforce tag and the closed Visualforce tag. Open and the closed, both of them are, right? So we have an open Visualforce tag and the closed Visualforce tag. Any Visualforce tag you take, it has to be have an open and close. Now in this, if you see, there are two words are there, apex colon page. Apex is the prefix namespace. For Visual Force, Apex is the prefix namespace. And after that, in this namespace, what is the component that I need to use it is decided after the colon. That means here page is a component name. Page is a component name. So what we are saying here, Apex colon page. Apex is the namespace. In that space, go with the component called page, because within the Apex prefix namespace, there are so many components are there. There are so many components are there. The prefix does not change it. This is a standard. In this namespace, there are so many components are there. Out of that component, just use the component name called page. Just use the component name called a page. So you need to use the component name which is called as a page. You need to use component name which is called as a page. Now that's how here, if you go to the Visual Force page, here Apex is the prefix namespace. Right, this is the prefix namespace, and then we are using the component which is called as a page. This is the component name. This is component name. The component name is page. So by default, Visual Force is always starts with the Apex colon component which is called as a page and ends with Apex colon component name called page. Right, so that is the understanding of the Apex page. Now, if you go for any Visual Force page tag, there are so many tags are there in the Visual Force page, right? Which are the tag you take it, which are the tag you take it, whether the Apex colon page or you take different tag, whatever it might be, all of them is having a certain attributes within this. Every tag will have the attributes within this. That means now here, now first thing is that you have a Apex namespace. This is Apex namespace. This namespace, within this namespace, you have a so many components are there. You have so many components are there. Now, right now we are talking about the component which is called as a Apex page. The component which we are talking about the Apex page. So page is the component. Page is the component. Like this, there are so many components are there. So right now we are talking about the component page. Right. Similarly, we have a few other components here, here, here. So many are there. Right. So within this every component, again within the every component, now you have a certain variables or certain attributes. You have a certain attributes for the every page. Every page there is a attributes are there. Every page you have a certain attributes are there. Now these are attributes. Right, so these attributes, there are so many attributes are there. Okay, so when you click on this Visual Force page, now you give a space here, and then you will see all the attributes that are there inside the page component. Attributes which are there inside the page component. Similarly, every component will have an attribute because the page is the component. Now, how this component should behave is decided by the attribute. How this component should be behaved by the attribute. Right? Now that we will see. Now, before seeing that, let me do a few more HTML commands here. Now, this is one. Now, let me create a few more. For example, I wanted to create a one more page. That page is, now this is the border. In this border, now this side, the right side, I wanted to display the technologies. Now here Salesforce, right, Apex, and then I wanted to see the Lightning Aura component. Fourth one is Lightning LWC component. Where is this? This is the page and this is the border. In this border, where exactly it is displaying? It is displaying in the right side. It is displaying in the right side. Now, this is the VF page that I'm going to implement. This is the VF page that I'm going to implement it. VF page, this is a VF page I'm going to implement it. Now, how am I going to implement it? Now, first of all, I need to place it here. This text has to be there within the apex colon page. Now, as soon as I create a VF page, it starts with the apex colon page and ends with apex colon page. Now, in between this, I need to add this text. This text I'll be adding into this text I'll add into the div. I'll add within the div, that is the open div, and this is the closed div. This is the closed div. Within this div, I'll add this text. Right? Now let's see how to implement this VF page. File, new, Visual Force page. Let's say display list. I wanted to display the list. Click on OK. So this is my display list. Now here I'm going to add a div within the div. Now how can I add this order? How can I add this order? Which HTML command do I need to use it? OL, okay. Along with the OL, order list, right? LI, right? So basically what we are going to use is, in order to display this order, we have a tag. Yesterday I have given the assignment for the OL. Yesterday I have given the assignment for OL. So you will take a OL. Now let me show you that OL. Now HTML tag list. Inside this tag list, let's go for OL. Now here is the OL. So in the OL, now if you click on it, try it yourself. Now this is how it is displaying it. 1, 2, 3. How it is displaying it using the OLI, right? So if you place it like this, here OL, within this, I'm going to place it. I'm going to place it LI, right? So I'll say Salesforce LI HTML LI CSS. Let's save this. Click on preview button. Once I click on preview button, it is displaying in the Salesforce HTML CSS, right? But this has to be displayed in the right side. Now where it is displaying in the left side. It has to display in the right side. Now I'll give you the half an hour. No, and in between that, I'll give you few homeworks. Right now, you guys have to do it. Okay. So let me give you the few homework. Now, this is another homework. You have to do it right now. You need to display this in the right side. You need to display this in the right side. That is first homework. And the second homework is Second homework is you have to display in reverse order. For LWC, read LA lightning aura to Apex, 1 Salesforce, 1 Salesforce. This is one homework. Right now you have to do it. And another homework is similarly border should be there. Border which is a red color. And it has to be displayed the text in center Salesforce. Salesforce, it has to be a center and it has to be in the bold. It has to be in the bold. And then below that, the text has to be displayed here. For example, Visual Force is a framework that allows developer to build sophisticated user interface. User interface. Now this has to be displayed in normal text. And then here at the right side, it should display thank you. Take a screenshot of it. Okay. Implement it. I'll be back in half an hour. So right now you guys have to implement. I'll be there online, but I'll be back. Now, all the HTML keywords, what are the HTML keywords are there? Everything, we can use it. Okay. Okay, start implementing. This is one assignment. This is another assignment, 2 assignments. Okay. Right. So let me do it. So how many members actually did the reverse order? So I see only few members. How about others? Did anybody tried it? Let me go on. So here is the developer console. Now this one I wanted in the reverse order, right? First of all, this is displaying in the left side. I wanted to display this in the right side. In order to display in the right side, what I'll do is simply I'll put a div style equal to float colon right. Float colon right. So let's go ahead and save this and see the output. See, it is displaying the other side, right side. Now, in order to save this, whenever you see here, there is a star mark. For example, if I did, whenever you see here star mark is nothing but the page is not saved. You will not see the output. You have to save it, either use a control plus S, or if you are using the different, not the Windows, if you are using the some other, then you have to use the command S. Command S. So you need to click on a save. Either you can use the control plus S, or else you can click on the file, save. So here it is a control plus S. What are the keyword it is showing it? Just use that keyword. Right. So once you saved it, you will be able to see that you have to click on this preview button. When you click on the preview button, you will be able to see the result here. Now, next thing is that I wanted to display in the reverse order. I wanted to display in the reverse order. If I wanted to display in the reverse order. Now, in the OL, we have a one attribute which is called as a reversed. We have a one attribute which is called as a reversed equal to true. Reverse equal to true. Perfect, it is displaying. If I add a new one also, if I add new one here and adding the another one, let's say JavaScript. Click on save. It is displayed in the order of 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, whatever the first one is there, it is displaying this one as a 4, this is a 3, this is a 2, this is a 1. Right, I have reversed the order of it. Now, in case if you do not want a numbers, you want a bullet, you want just a dot, you do not want the numbers, then in that case, you have to use the here UL. So click on save. Now it is going to display in the dot. Instead of 1, it is going to display in the dot. Right. So if you want to display in the center, you need to use the float text equal to center, you need to use it. So this is how we will be playing with the CSS. This is how we will be playing with the CSS. Now take a notes of this page. So this is the Apex colon page in the Visual Force tag, and here we have a prefix namespace and the component name. In the component name, we have a different attributes are there. So we are using the component is page, and within here we have an open Visual Force tag and the close Visual Force tag. Now let's take a scenario. For example, the attributes. Let's go and see the attributes. What are the attributes are available within the Apex page? Like HTML has the attribute. Div is the HTML keyword. Now within that you have a different attribute which is called as a style. Similarly, UL is the HTML tag, and inside that you have some attribute which is a reverse equal to true, which is reverse equal to true. So like this, we have the information. Similarly, Apex page is also having the attributes. Apex page is also having the attributes. Now, Apex page does not have a mandatory. It does not have a mandatory attributes, but it have a few attributes. Now, let's see what are the few attributes which are mandatory. No, it's not a mandatory, but if you use it, you will see the different way of displaying the data. The first thing is that sidebar. Sidebar is nothing but now here, if you switch to the classic, Now let me switch this lightning to the classic. Now if I click on this, switch to Salesforce Classic. Now, if you want to see the output, let me close this, click on the output preview. So what is happening? I can see the sidebar. Whatever the sidebar is there, I can see exactly, and the text is displaying here, and the text is displaying here. Now let me remove them. Now, or else I'll add one more thing here. I'll say paragraph. This is Salesforce page. Click on save. Right, this is the Salesforce page, and here it is displaying the information. But if you see here, sidebar is displaying it. Now, sidebar is basically, it will tell that now if you do not want to see this left side one, if you do not want to see this left side one, whatever we have, create a new shortcut, recently items, whatever is there. Now, I don't want to see this left side part. In that case, what we can do is we can use the sidebar attribute. We can use the sidebar attribute. If you use the sidebar attribute, so what will happen is it has the options where it says that either true or false, either true or false. Now sidebar is, it is expecting the Boolean data type. It is a Boolean data type. This will accept a Boolean value that needs to be specified in the sidebar, like a sidebar equal to false or a sidebar equal to true. Right, in case if you put a sidebar equal to true, what will happen? The sidebar is displayed. If you say false, then it is not going to display. Now let's see what is happening if I place it sidebar equal to true. Now here I'll say here sidebar. We have a attribute called sidebar. Now first I'll say true. Let's click on save. If I click on a save, now it is displaying the sidebar. Now if you say here false, it will not display the sidebar. Click on save. Now it is not displaying the sidebar. Right? This is only for the classic view. Sidebar is only for the classic view. For the lightning view, you do not have a sidebar. For lightning, you do not have a sidebar. You just have a on top. Top, there is a menu item will be there. So this, whatever this attribute is there, this attribute will work only for the classic. Only for the classic. It does not work for the lightning. So if you are in a classic, if you want to take out the left side sidebar, then you have to use the sidebar equal to false. Similarly, I wanted to take out the header. In that case, what I'll do is I'll say there is another attribute which is called as a show header. Show header equal to false. I'll say that remove the show header. Remove the show header. Now automatically page will be redirected. It is remove the page header. Now in case if you want a show header, you want it, then you put it true. If you want the header, you want it to be displayed, then mention here true. Now in case if you do not mention, by default it will consider as a true. In case if you do not mention, by default it will consider as a true. By default it is considered as a true. So that is the second attribute. Right? In the real time, you might see these two attributes. Along with this, there is another attribute which is called as a ID. Another attribute which is called as a ID. ID is nothing but ID is another attribute which is a unique identifier. It's a identifier. Now, what it does, ID is a string data type. ID is a string data type. Now, this is the identifier of the page that allows to referenced by the another component. For example, you have two visual force pages. You have two visual force pages. One visual force page is here, another visual force page is here. Another visual force page is here. right? Now, this is one Visualforce page, this is another Visualforce page. Let's assume that this is a VF1 page. VF1 page, this is another VF2 page. Now, in case VF2 wants to call VF1, VF2 wants to call the VF1, or else within the VF page, you have a multiple options are there. Now, let's take it as a 2 VF page. Now, here, one VF, it is a VF2. It's a Visualforce. Now, this Visualforce 2 wants to call the Visualforce 1. Now, how can it call? Now, usually in the Salesforce, for every Visualforce page, you can give a name to it. You can give a name to it within the code. So, how can you give the name to it? You can say here ID equal to page 1. ID equal to page 1. Now, this VF page name is, identifier name is a page 2. You can give any name. Right now, I'm giving a page 1, page 2. Whenever this VF2 wants to call another VF, then what it says that call page 1. Now, how this page 1 is getting identified? Because there is a name is mentioned to this page 1. So it will try to call this page 1, whether the ID is there. Similarly, we are going to specify here page 1. Similarly, we are going to specify here, if you have an attribute which is called as a ID equal to page 1. ID equal to page 1. That means you are giving a name to this page. You are giving a name to this Apex page. You are providing a name to this Apex page. Right? So that is few attributes. Now, apart from this, there are few more attributes are there. Like, for example, you have an attribute called as a setup. Now, in general, if you are using a setup, you should not be using the sidebar or header. Otherwise it will overwrite. Now, let me show you that what will happen if I add a sidebar. Now, here it was sidebar. Like this, it is there. Now, I'm removing the sidebar. Let's say I'm going to add setup equal to false. Let's add true first. Right? By default, it is a true. Now, whenever I add a true, what will happen? Setup, and it is displaying this setup option, it is displaying it. Now, if I say false, it will be a different setup. That means this left side one is going to change. See, left side one. That means setup true is nothing but I am clicking on a setup. Setup true is nothing but I am clicking on a setup, which is going to redirect this page. Now, setup true is nothing but I am clicking on a setup button. Now, you wanted to display the search button here, quick find, everything you wanted to display. Then you can see here, this setup option is enabled. Now, if you say setup equal to false, the setup option, the quick find will be disabled. Now, for example, if you are adding here, sidebar equal to false and then show header equal to true, then what will happen? Now, let me save that logic. Let's say here true. And it is displaying it. Now, take out this Control S. Now let's check sidebar, is it displaying or not? So sidebar is displaying it. Now let me give here false. And show header also I'll give the false. Now I do not have a header and row. I do not have anything. Now this time I'm going to give the setup. This time setup equal to true. That means I'm clicking on the setup button. Now, am I able to, when let's save this record, now refresh it, is setup is displaying it, it's not displaying it. Whenever you have a show header false and sidebar equal to false, when you have these two conditions as a false, and if you are keeping the setup equal to true, it will not work. Right? When these two are false and if the setup equal to true, then it will not work. But in case if you make it as a show header is a true, show header is true. Show header is true. Now in that case, header is going to display. Now when the header is displaying it, setup equal to true. Now system can click on this setup true and you can display here. Right? So basically here, three things which are there. In the apex column page. So far we have discussed the four attributes. One is a sidebar and show header and then ID and then we have a setup. Sidebar equal to, no, initially if I give a sidebar equal to false means sidebar equal to false means do not display the sidebar. Do not display sidebar. If this is equal to true, if this is equal to true, then display sidebar. Right? Similarly, show header. Show header false is nothing but show header false is nothing but do not display the header. When it is a true, display the header. Right? ID is a to identify the page name. Now here setup has a two things. False is nothing but do not click on setup option. Do not click on setup option. Now true is nothing but click on setup option, right? So that the right side, so that left side, whatever it is there, it will be reflected by showing the information. So these are the few attributes which are available inside the Apex page. There are few more attributes are there. We will see as we go on. Based on the scenario, we will see why it is required to use it. Why it is required to use it. Take a notes of it. And this sidebar show header is just a, these are the, in Lightning it is a different and in Classic it is a different. Now here let me write the note at the last. Sidebar show header and setup. No, these attributes in Lightning experience, that means in Lightning and the Salesforce mobile. What are the Salesforce mobile app is there? The Salesforce mobile app and the Salesforce mobile app. Whatever the value you are giving it, the value of this attribute is overridden. That means it is always false. It is always false. It is always false. If you mention this true also, by default, Lightning and mobile app will be overriding the values, whatever it is having on the sidebar and show header, it will always override it as a false. It doesn't work. Basically, it doesn't work. Now, in case if you do not specify in Classic, in Classic. If you do not specify attribute in apex column page, then by default it will display, by default it will display true. By default it will display true. Take a note of it.
ఏం కాదులే
మళ్ళీ ఇచ్చాడు కదరా
వైరింగ్ లో వస్తాయి
కదా టోకెన్స్ వెళ్ళి
మళ్ళీ స్విచ్ దీనికి ఇచ్చాడు
గోల్డ్ మెడల్
Yes. So this sidebar show header setup. If you are implementing a Visualforce page for a classic, then you should consider it. Now let me show you that. Right now I have a sidebar false. That means display the sidebar. Now show header is displayed here. Now when I switch to the lightning, for example, if I switch to the lightning, do I have a sidebar here? I don't have a sidebar, right? Now if I try to execute the same program in the lightning, click on a preview. No, it is by default, it is opening in the classic. So in the lightning, we do not have a sidebar. So that's the reason sidebar show header parameters only works for a classic. It does not work for a lightning because there is nothing called as a sidebar. And show header also it does not work because whenever you click on a preview button for a lightning, by default, it is going to remove the header and by default, it is going to remove the header. You will not be able to see that information. Header will not be there. See, this is in the lightning. I do not have anything here. Now if I click on this, now it is displaying completely like a lightning view. As soon as I add these details, immediately it is going to switch to the classic and it will display the sidebar and lightning. So do not use, if you want a lightning view, do not use these attributes. If you use these attributes, immediately whatever you are viewing the page, that page will be converted as a classic. Now, if I remove these things, if I remove this control and I'm saving this, as soon as I remove it, it will display the page in the lightning view. So this is the lightning view. So whatever we have it, this is the lightning view. But as soon as you add these attributes, what is happening immediately, it will switch to the classic automatically. Because you are specifying the header and calls, different options you are saying it and different values you are giving it. So that's the reason it is specifying there. Clear? Yes. If your requirement is lightning, do not use this. Simple. If your requirement is you wanted to place a visual force page in the lightning, do not use those parameters. If you have a requirement to build in the visual force page, then you need to consider these attributes. Everybody taking the notes of it? Okay. Let's move on. New component which is called as a Apex page block. So far, whatever we have seen the component which is called Apex page. We have seen the Apex page. Now within this namespace, within this another namespace, another component which is called as a page block. Another component which is called as a page block. Page block is also having the open and close, right? It will have a open visual force tag and the close visual force tag. And what is the purpose of using this page block? Page block will be, this tag will create a block in the page to create a style similar to the Salesforce detail page. Style similar to the Salesforce detail page. Now, what is that means? Now, I have this page, okay? I have this page. Let me take out this. Now, I have this page is there. Now, we are displaying the text on the page. We are displaying the text on the page. But I wanted to divide this page into the blocks. I wanted to divide this page into the blocks. Like here one block, and here one block, and here one block. I wanted to divide this page into the multiple blocks. Now, in this block, I'll say that first block is about me. First block is about me. And the second one is my contact details. And the third one is the education details. Like this page, I'll divide into the block wise. If I wanted to divide this page into the blocks, then what I'll do is I'll use the new component which is called as a page block, So it will divide the page into the blocks. Now page block is also having the open visual force tag and close visual force tag. Apex is the prefix namespace and page block is component name. Page block is another component name. After the page block, whatever you see here, there are different attributes are there. Those are called as a attributes. These are called as a attributes. So here, open visual post tag, close visual post tag, and within this tag, we have a before the colon apex, which is a prefix namespace, and after the colon, it is a component name, which is called as a page block, and then we have a attributes. There are different attributes are there. One of the attribute is called as a title. One of the attribute is called as a title. Take a notes of it, then we will implement one of apex page block. Done. Okay, so let's go ahead and implement it. Now within this apex page, now let me create a new one. New visual force page. Let's say we are implementing the VF underscore apex page block. Let's write it here, page block. Now within this, I'll say display page block in apex colon page. Now, I'm going to use the another visual force tag, which is called as a apex colon page block, apex colon page block. Apex colon page block. Apex colon page block. Now let's see how it is displaying it. I just added the text and then I added the, that's it. I added the one page block. Now let's click on a preview. What is happened? Immediately it is displaying the some block, it is displaying it. Now after display the page in the displaying the page block in apex page, display the page block in apex page. Now here it started the thin line. Now let's say I'm going to add a title. Title equal to contact information. Title is the attribute, contact information. Click on a save. What is happened? It is created the contact information. Now if you look at in the classic, let's go to the account record. Now you see here you have a different blocks. So this is one block, contact information, one block. Here you have a name of it, right? And here you have a hyperlink. There is a hyperlink. If you click on that hyperlink, it will take you to the different page. It will take you to the different page. Similarly, you have another block. Similarly, you have another block, which is an opportunity, Here you have a name is opportunity, and then here you have a URL, which will take you to the different URL. If you click on that, it will take you to the opportunity URL. If you click on this, it will take you to the opportunity. Right. Similarly, I am also going to implement same thing using the Visualforce page. Whatever you can see here, whatever you can see different blocks, that's the same exactly the blocks I'm going to implement it. Now here I have a contact information which is showing in the left side. On the right side, what I'll do is I'll also show some kind of a help. I'll show the help here. That means in order to show this help, we have to use few attributes. Those attributes are, so title, we have used it in order to display the text on the page block. And the second one is a ID. We know that this is a ID is nothing but a identifier to identify the block name. And second one is we have a DIR. This is basically you wanted to display the direction in the right side or a left side, left to right or right to left. If you want any kind of a direction, you can use the attribute which is called as a DIR. And similarly, help title. Help title is nothing but if you want to display the text as a help title. Now, when I say help title, now if you go to the normal Salesforce, this is the help title. This is help title. Now, when you click on this help title, it is going to take you to the some page where it is you can see more details about the that it's taking you to the help.salesforce.com, right? Similarly, in the page block also you have a help title and the help URL. Now, title is going to display what is the title you wanted to display on the help title. URL is when you click on that URL, what is the URL it should be taking down. Now, let me show you this help title and help URL. Now, here I have added the title and then I'm going to add help title. Help title. Let's say that contact help. Let's say now help title, right? We have added the contact help. Now, whenever you add a help title, along with this help title, it is expecting the help URL. You should give the help URL. Help URL. Let's assume that help URL is, I'm giving this URL. This is the URL. Click on save. Once I'm done with this, see here, it is displaying the contact information. This is the help title. And if I click on this URL, it will take me to the page which is having the help. Right, it is taking me to that. Whatever you see here, that's exactly we have implemented. Let me take a screenshot of it, this, and let's go to whatever we have implemented. Now here, contact help, right? Whatever the standard layout is there, I have implemented the contact help and then contact information. If you want, you can change the detail header information is also instead of contact information. If you just want a contacts, you can add a contacts. Click on save. It is saving. Now here it is the contacts and then contact help. Right? Contacts and contact help. Similarly, I wanted to add opportunities. Opportunities help. Whatever this opportunities help is there, as soon as I click on this help, it is taking me to this URL. Now, if I wanted to add opportunities, now what I'll do, go to the developer console. Let's add another page block, Apex page block. Apex page block title equal to I'll say opportunities, right? And then I'm going to add a help titles equal to opportunity help. Opportunity help, and then I'm going to add a help URL. Help URL equal to, this is the URL I'm going to give. This is the help URL. Click on save. Once it is saved, then it is on top contacts and below opportunities. Contacts, opportunities. Now here it is a contact help, opportunity help. Contact help, opportunity help. Right? Now, for example, now I wanted to add another one which is called as a orders. If you want to add another one, use the another page block. But here it is a orders. And here help title is a order help. Order help. And the help URL is whatever the order help URL is there. That's exactly you have to go for it. Help order URL. So this is the URL. Let me copy this. Go to the help URL. Now let's paste it. Let's say this is the order view. It's saved, and then now I can see that another block is displaying that order. So if I wanted to divide, this is the entire thing is a page. This entire thing is a page. This is page. Now inside this page, if I want to divide this page into the multiple blocks. Now this is one block, and this is another block, and this is another block. If I wanted to divide the page into the multiple blocks, then what I need to use is, I need to use the page block. I need to use the component called page block. Now inside this page block, what is the title should be displayed? I need to use the attribute called title. I need to use the attribute called title. Now if you want any help and URL, if you want to display it, then you have to use the two attributes. One is the help title, and along with the help title, you have to use the help URL. Help URL. These two attributes has to be used for the displaying this data. Any questions on the page block? Okay, so let's go on. Now take a homework. Homework is this one. Implement Visual Force page. Implement a Visual Force page. Implement a Visual Force page to display the page as below. Whatever below we have it, display this page. So implement a Visual Force page to display the page as below. Now you need to implement a block inside the page. You need to implement a block about me, and here you need to add a help title, help URL about me, and my contact details. You need to add a contact details here, help URL and help title. Similarly, education. In the education, you need to add a education details here. Project is another block. You need to add a project details, and last one is a address. You need to add a address details. This is the homework. Now, because the reason is now here. Now, if you go to the developer console, did I add anything here? Show header, sidebar. Did I add anything? I have not added anything. If you do not add it, by default, it is going to display in the classic view. By default, it is going to display in the classic view because we are using this visual force page for the classic. We are implementing this visual force page for the classic. Yes, you can delete the visual force page. Now, which are the visual force page you wanted to delete it? Click on this visual force page. Okay, for example, let me create a new visual force page. New visual force page. Let's say dummy. Click on OK. Now, by mistakenly, I created this dummy. Now, which are the one you wanted to delete it? Click on that, open that PDF page. Click on that PDF page. Then you have a file. Delete. File, delete. Click on this. It is going to show you the what are the visual force page you are deleting it. That visual force page it is going to show you. Now click on a delete button. It will be deleted. It will be deleted. Any other questions? Sunil, I did not get the question. So compiling two visual force pages, I saw the following error after successful compiling the first page. Okay, that should be fine. This is about the developer console session has been idle. That means you kept the open this developer console for some time, you kept it as a open. So just click on a resume. If you click on that means it went for a hold. It went for a hold. So that means you have implemented, you are working on the developer console. Sometimes you are away, maybe 30 minutes or 20 minutes you are away. So what it is saying that you have a developer console session which is a staying idle for some time. Now if you want to start working on it, click on a resume button. Just click on a resume button, it will take you there. Yes, help title is by default, help titles in the Salesforce is always in the standard blue color because this help title. Now, what is this help title? Help title is whenever we take it by default, Salesforce is going to provide it. Now, these attributes are provided by Salesforce. These attributes are provided by Salesforce. If I am using this attribute help title, this means at the back end, Salesforce is implemented as some logic on the back end. I'm simply using the help title, but behind this attribute, Salesforce has implemented a logic. There is some logic which is implemented by the Salesforce. So the logic which they are using is on the help title to use the standard help title, whatever the way it has. Whatever the standard Salesforce help title, the way it has, similarly, it should be displaying same font. So it will display same thing. So what are the attributes we are using here? There is a backend logic is implemented by the Salesforce. I cannot simply use directly like this. So if Salesforce is giving some attributes, means there is some logic is implemented by the Salesforce. There is some logic is implemented by the Salesforce. And if I use this attribute equal to this, then means when I execute the Visual Force page, the backend, the logic also, Salesforce logic also gets executed. And whenever we are using the attributes, it will follow the Salesforce standard rules. Salesforce standard font and standard anything is there, you can follow it. In case if you want to change this, then you need to modify putting the style separately. Putting the style separately, you need to modify it. Okay. So Sunil, the error is there is a one star mark here somewhere in one of your Visual Force page did not save it. So there is a star mark on top. See that, open that. If you see anywhere star mark, open that, save that Visual Force page. Got it? Okay. Any other questions? Take a homework notes. Yeah, for lightning also, we will see lightning, but initially Visual Force pages are implemented only for classic. Okay, so first we will focus on classic. And how to place it in the lightning, we will see. Once we know all the attributes, component, we know how to implement a Visual Force page, then I'll show you that how to display in the lightning. Clear?